his talk by quoting a phrase from Edmund Burke. Edmund Burke is a parliamentarian, a British parliamentarian before. And he said that evil will triumph when good men remain quiet. We are the good men. We are the God-sent people. So we cannot remain quiet. We must voice out. And we must ensure that the coming election is going to be a fair and clean election. However, having said that, some of us may have reservations. These reservations are either due to what I call as legitimate concern or baseless fear. Probably the major concern is the issue about turning this country to become an Islamic state if Pakistan were to come to power. Right? So this is the main concern to many of us. The Muslims and non-Muslims like. Not all Muslims will support an Islamic state, mind you. So you have to understand this. Fingers are pointed to the main component of the Pakatan Raya, that is the Islamic Party pass. But I would like to remind all of you to history. Who was the first person who mentioned that this country is an Islamic country? Correct. Tun Mahathir, in his statement in September 2001, said that UMNO wishes to state clearly that Malaysia is an Islamic nation. This is based on the opinion of the ulamas who had clarified what had constituted an Islamic country. That was a speech made by Mahathir before. So remember that. It is not past. It is not Pakatan. It was Mahathir himself. However, we have to understand that it doesn't mean that when the Prime Minister said that this country is an Islamic country, so it becomes an Islamic country. Alright? The statements themselves do not automatically determine the nature of Malaysia's identity. That we have to understand. And we also have to understand about Article 4 of our Constitution. That says, this Constitution is the supreme law of the Federation. And any law passed after Merdeka Day, which is inconsistent with this Constitution, to the extent of the inconsistency, be void. Means that any laws passed which are against the Constitution shall be deemed null and void. Please understand that. Unfortunately, what we see today is that race and religion have lifted the documents and scream that there must be different treatment for different people. And this was what? Like, just after 12 years after the First World War, and after Nazi Germany's Second World War, and 9 years after the adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And as Dr. Biga will concur with me, Malaysia holds the chair at the Human Rights Council, United Nations Human Rights Council. And this current trend is basically going against the principle of human rights and the principle enshrined in the Human Rights Council. We understand that some of the formulations within our Constitution were made because of the overwhelming disparity, the economic disparity between the different races during that time. But it wasn't supposed to stay there forever, alright? And if I'm not mistaken, if you were to look at the statement made by Dr. Ismail, for example, he said that it should be considered as if it was a golf handicap. It was a golf handicap. Something that should not be there forever and ever. It should be reviewed after time. that lies before us is, where did it all go wrong? And is there any possibility of repairing the damage done? Now I want to remind you of Article 3 of our Constitution, which reads, Islam is the religion of the Federation, but other religions may be practiced in peace and harmony in any part of the Federation. Now does this phrase mean that our country was to be an Islamic country? No. The answer is clearly in the negative for two main reasons. Okay? And listen, what are the reasons? First, based on the report of the Federation of Malaysia Constitution Commission, page 33, this great commission report, upon examining the draft constitution, says the observance of this principle shall not imply that the state is not a secular state. It is very clear, therefore, that Malaysia was not to be an Islamic state. This is not an assertion made by the Great Commission. It is an assertion made by the very people who were to become the government of the newly independent nation. At that time it was Ahmad, MCA and MSA. This statement combined with Article 4, which places all laws in the country under the Constitution, means that any claim that Malaysia was meant to be a theocratic country is indigenous. Look at Article 3. Article 3 says that Islam is the religion of the Federation. What it means is that Islam should be the official ceremonial and a religion for official ceremonial matters, which are concerned with Islamic form and rituals, right? Like making dua and things like that, for official ceremony. That is the most important thing, okay? First, read commission, okay, the report by the commission. And the second one, I think Dr. Omega spoken for this before, was based on the case of Chief Oman and Chief versus Public Prosecutor, as published in the Malaysian Law Journal 1988. The then Supreme Court held that laws in Malaysia do not have to conform to the Islamic principles and confirm that Malaysia is a secular state. Probably a little bit of understanding about the case, probably Dr. Omega will later on to explain further. It was a case of a drug trafficker who was basically supposed to be hanged. And his lawyer, attorney, argued that hanging for a drug trafficker was against Islamic law. Hence, it should be considered null and void. So, you get what I'm saying? But the law president at that time said, we have to set aside our personal feelings, because the law in this country is what it is today, a secular law, where morality not accepted by the law is not enjoying the status of the law. Our Constitution provides in Article 4 that the Constitution is the highest law of the land, whereas in the Islamic state, the Quran is the highest law of the land. The validity of laws, therefore, must be measured upon the yardstick of the Constitution and not Islamic principles, thus making this Constitution a secular law. Alright, so I hope you clear. I would like to further point to a very important thing about Article 11, which has been an article of contention since the case of Dina Joy and so on. It says every person has the right to profess the practice and practice religion and subject to clause 4 to propagate it. Now, clause 4 allows the state government or the federal government in cases of of the federal territories to control the propagation of religion to Muslims. However, if you read the law carefully, you will understand, but it does not only restrict the non-Muslims to propagate to Muslims, but it also limits the Muslim from propagating to Muslims themselves. So Harvey says in his book, Law, Government and Constitution in Malaysia, page 201, that restriction of proselytism has more to do with the preservation of public order than with religious priority. I hope you understand that. Okay? Now, let's go to Article 153 regarding lay special privileges. It was stated in Article 153, it shall be the responsibility of the Yang Terlalu, the king, to safeguard the special position of the Malays and natives of the states of Sabah and Sarawak and the legitimate interests of other communities in accordance with the provision of this article, that is Article 153. Under advice in the Malaysian Constitution, but the king should advise, means he has to act, the king has to act according to this advice. Therefore, the responsibility of such authoritative action cannot in any way be placed on the shoulder of the monarch. However, unfortunately, this Article 153 is being treated like a holy scripture by Malay supremacists and Malay nationalists. And serious, when it must be read in the context of the rest of the Constitution, it cannot be read separately, okay, out of context. It must be read in continuation with the Constitution itself. Article 8 lays down the ideal of equality. All of us, all persons, are equal before the law and entitled to the equal protection of the law. It is not confused as it allows for such diversions from the basic principle. Alright? So this Article 8 is very, very important. And we should also note that Article 136, which states, all persons of whatever race in the same grade in the service of the Federation shall, subject to the terms and conditions of the employment, be treated impartially. We cannot be treated based on our color, skin color. We cannot be treated differently just based on our religion. We cannot be treated differently just because we are, born to a royal family or things like that. We must be treated equally, all of us. We are Malaysians. One Malaysia. Furthermore, when we examine the Reid Commission report once again, we see that the lions had this comment, okay, at that time. In an independent Malaya, all nationals should be accorded equal rights, privileges and opportunities, and there must not be discrimination on grounds of race and creed. It was specifically stated. Such advantages given to the Malays were meant to be a stopgap measure to aid the economically disadvantaged Malays. Like I said just now, it was like a golf handicap. It is submitted that ultimately the Constitution was designed to be one that supported fundamental liberties and liberal democratic principles. It acknowledges the inequity that existed in Malaya in 1957. The rulers were constitutional monarchs with limited real power, but with simple strength. And Islam at that time was given a special civil recognition as well as real authority over the personal laws of Muslims. This fact does not in any way take away the fact that a secular pluralistic pluralistic system of governance, one that valued fundamental liberties, in particular equality, was the aim of the constitution and also the leaders of the time. Alright? Aim is to ensure equality and pluralism, which is considered a very bad word nowadays. Right? So what went wrong? How did we get to a situation where pluralism has become an almost alien concept nowadays? And where enforced hegemony the norm. Everybody talk about keturunan Melayu and things like that. Where did it all go wrong? So over the past 30 years, there has been a growing Islamization of Islam. Whether we like it or not, both UMNO and PAS, they were trying to out-Islamize each other. Right? So this was a very unfortunate thing. Like Islam has been propelled to the center stage of politics nowadays. And as we know, because of them trying to out-Islamize each other, UMNO wants to see themselves as championing the cause of Islam. So that is why, in the case of the issue of Allah, the name of Allah, UMNO seems to be very adamant that non-Malays, non-Muslims should not use the kalimah Allah. Right? So this is a real problem in our society, because we are trying to out-Islamize Islam. And we saw that recently even PAS has somehow recanted their stand, which was very unfortunate. Alright? And we see that, and we have observed how churches were burned down because of these sentiments, unnecessary sentiments and violence. And things will make worse because of UMNO constant racist posturing. Remember, Hishamuddin Hussein, the current Home Affairs Minister, was sworn of aggressive justice with bladed weapon when he made the fiery speeches about Malay rights. Najib Razak, who was at the time the head of UMNO Youth in 1980s, he said, "We will bathe the crease in Chinese blood." Remember that? What he said? I've never heard him apologizing for those statements. Right? Even today, UMNO MPs and state representatives are fond of saying that non-Malay citizens are immigrants. You are all pendatang. Right? They should return to where they come from. This kind of thuggish behavior is found among defenders of Malay rights, as well as those who call themselves defenders of Islam. The likes of the Shah candidate, right? Mobs of Islamists have broken up peaceful forums, forums organized by seditious in Islam and so on and so forth, and the forum discussing about constitutional rights and family laws on the pretext that such forums were insulting Islam. Now, my last question is, how could this country be turned to become an Islamic country? If people say that, they will turn, this Pakatan Rakyat, they will turn this country to become an Islamic country. No, if they come to power, they're trying by using MCA and MIC, trying to instill fear among the non-Muslims that this country will turn to become an Islamic country if Pakatan Rakyat comes to power. Right? On the other hand, the UMNO side will go and tell the Malays that this country is going to become a Christian country if Pakatan comes to power. You see? This is the politics. We must know that this is the politics of UMNO, the current ruler of this country. And we must say no to this kind of politics. I want to make sure that you understand this, that this country cannot turn to become an Islamic country unless through a series of amendments of the Constitution that will require two-thirds, the majority in the agreement in the House of Parliament and the agreement of the conference of rulers. Do you think it's easy to get the majority to change the constitution? So become it's ridiculous, isn't it? So what I'm trying to say is that we have to understand that during the years, after independence, the ideals of our founding fathers were perverted for political mileage by the ruling party. The effort to rebuild the nation in the shape that was envisioned in the 1957 is still possible if you put this. If you show that we have the right and we have the power to ensure that it remains as it is. So, as a conclusion, I would say, unless we have to ensure to say that we want to see change in the coming election, right? And in the beginning, I quote Edmund Burke. At the end of my speech, I would like to quote what was said by Mahatma Gandhi. We must be the change we want to see in the future. Right?